Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 90 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on November 30th, 2021. How you folks doing? Man, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I did. I really did. I was out hunting. It was awesome. A wonderful remote Thanksgiving and hunting trip. It was a combo. It was awesome, man. I really enjoyed it. Much needed, really. Frankly, I need to get out of here. It was definitely good, definitely relaxing. I'll talk about some of that on today's episode. I will. 90 episodes. Guys, that's a little alarming, frankly. When you think about it, 10 episodes left to 100. So that means that soon the level of my obsession will be more palpable. I think I figure when you hit 100 of anything, it's strangely symbolic of some kind of milestone of high quantity. It's weird. Maybe it's the metric system. I don't know. It's just something about 100. It just hits different, as the kids say. So regardless, thank you for listening. I do enjoy doing this. A gentleman on social media this week, he's a Pew Science member. He remarked, he DM'd me, he said, he was listening to this podcast while sharpening knives, and it was interesting. He said that, and I'm always reminded of, one of the reasons I decided to do a podcast and why I do it audio only is because I'm sort of a podcast person myself. I like to listen to podcasts, and what I do is I listen to them when I'm doing other stuff because I only have to listen to them. I don't need to watch them. I'll listen to them when I drive or when I, clean guns or build guns or maybe do some work around the house or something. I'll put on a podcast in my headphones and I'll listen to it. It's kind of like a book on tape type of thing where, you don't have a lot of time to sit down and read, but you might have time to listen to something. So, it's kind of, just a formative entertainment in the way I consume it. So this guy, he DMs me, he says, hey, yeah, I was listening to a few episodes while I was sharpening knives. And he was like, my girlfriend was nearby listening to it with me. And she remarked to him that it was very apparent that I care about what I'm speaking to you about on the podcast. Like she was like, hey, is that the guy you were talking about? That he really seems like he cares. That's what the guy told me. She said. He said that, and I thought about it, and I was like, that's really cool. Well, first of all, I was flattered. Second, that they're listening in the first place, frankly. And then I was kind of flattered that she said something like that. But she's right. I do care. I care a lot. And the level of effort I expend to do this every week is non-trivial. It's just me. I don't know if you guys know that, but I don't have help with this. Okay, so like I do this and I do Pew Science. And I do my job too, like in everything else. Like this isn't like, oh, he has a whole team and he has editors and he has no. This is all me. And so it's non-trivial. It's a big deal, and I wouldn't do that if I didn't care. I mean, it's a lot of work, frankly. And then also the level of effort I expend to continue to publish studies for you consistently that's also non-trivial, to the point that it does require outside support to make it sustainable. And one such mechanism of support is for this podcast, and it's from an entity named Silencer Shop. Yeah, I bet you didn't see how I was going with that. You see how I just weaseled that in? The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. Yeah. They're my infrastructure of choice, guys, for the NFA realm. I guess you have the ATF's infrastructure, but when it comes to public-facing infrastructure, the Silencer Shop system is linked in with the ATF, from the QR code to the kiosk to the biometric data encryption, your fingerprints and photos there. Buying a silencer from your couch on your phone while watching Netflix is possible because of Silencer Shop. I mean, You take, and you know what's really crazy? Those of us that remember doing it the old way all the time, I want to say, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I want to say we probably understand the gravity of it more, just because of how much a pain in the butt it used to be. Now, if you go back far enough, frankly, it wasn't that big a pain in the butt because it was a lot faster because the waits weren't that long back then. But as it became more popular in that kind of the dark ages, the in between time of when no one knew about NFA, but Silencer Shop wasn't here yet. So like it got more popular in between there, and then it was just a pain in the butt, and then Silencer Shop came along and made it faster, and it's still a pain, but it's like less of a pain, So anyway, it's cool. Silencer Shop is really innovative stuff. I hope they continue to do that. I think they will. I think there's some cool stuff coming from them, and you use their kiosk, you do your fingerprints and photos, you put them in there. It cuts down on errors. It simplifies the silencer purchasing process overall. They give you a money back guarantee, which is pretty wild when you think about it too. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It is. So, is that an ad? Absolutely, it is. Do they support the podcast? Yeah. That's why I read the ad. But it's more of me just saying what I think. So that's all I really do for these now 90 episodes. If you haven't figured that out by now, well, strap in for another one. That's what I'm doing right now. Because secondly, and most importantly, this podcast is brought to you by Pew Science. I'm the owner and technical director of Pew Science. It is my company. It is a significant effort that I'm putting forth for you and for the industry. I do this by myself with your support. All right? It is pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. You can see what I have created at pewscience.com. On that website is the suppression rating. It is the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms, and it is based on true human sound perception. Okay, it's in section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard, which I wrote and put on the website. It walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like Wikipedia, but it's not quite as long-winded, and it's way cooler because it's about guns and silencers, and everyone likes those because they're awesome. Okay, there's 7 parts to the standard. They're all on pewscience.com for you to read. And if you don't want to dig into it, you don't have to. It's fine. But if you would be so kind, visit section 5. It describes the suppression rating to you. It's very important that you understand that. It's not that hard. There's a color-coded chart. If you have questions, email me at tech@pewscience.com. The bottom line is that the suppression rating lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear, and it gives you a hearing-safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested, directly tied to human perception. If the rating is higher, it sounds better. If the rating is lower, it sounds louder. That's really all there is to it. I mean, that's the long and short of it, really. It's really all you. If you're not into the details, that's really all you need to know. Now, you're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world, I promise. Now, in section 6 of the standard, all the reviews are there, very detailed, and I understand. You might read those or might even see them and get scared or angry, and you might say, Jay, frankly, I think you've lost your mind, and how could you possibly expect me to read this thesis that you have written? What is it now? 58 times on your website. You wrote 58 articles. There's 58 articles, by the way, on the website, pewscience.com. 58 articles. That's crazy, you might say. So yes, it is crazy. Frankly, I agree with you. So you don't need to look at them if you don't need to. If you go to section 7, there's a table that summarizes everything for you. All the results are there. It's called the rankings. Pew Science Rankings. pewscience.com/rankings. Right there. Section 7 of the Silencer Sound Standards on the website. Database tool, sortable, searchable. Categorize the results to your heart's content. When you find something you like, there are links in the table to each individual review. It takes you back to section 6, and you can go wild. Peruse the data at your leisure. Okay. As always, if you're a manufacturer and you would like to use Pew Science for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all test data will be held in strict confidence. It will. This is a consulting firm in addition to a public research cooperative. So I run this like an engineering firm. I am a licensed and practicing engineer, and I run Pew Science like an engineering firm and consultancy. And so when I do that, that means I have clients. When I have clients, information discussed between me and those clients is client confidential. That's just how it is. All right. So if you want to contact me and talk about your silencers, we can. If not, that's cool too. It's up to you. It's right on the website. This form right there, make it easy for you. Now, we keep it all confidential. Now, let's say we test something and do the analysis there and give you your results, and you say, "Gosh, that's pretty good. I think we want to show people that." I say, "Okay, I can do that for you," and I publish an article on the website there with a full disclosure saying that it was done under contract, and then you can show the world the results of your good work there, and people might see it and think it's cool too. That's what it's all about. We've done that several times for folks. I put some articles on the website from clients, and people find it cool. Like, normally wouldn't see this stuff because maybe it's from a company that you don't know. So if you want that opportunity, contact me and I can help you with that. Okay, or not, it's fine. Now, all of you folks listening, you can support this podcast. You can support Pew Science. You can support all the testing I do. You can join with a membership on the website. You can join with a membership at pewscience.com, and that helps. Those membership fees help me run this entire company. Now, there's also a new donate function. Some people ask for that. I put it on the website in various locations. I'm sure you'll find it. It's on the review page. It's on the podcast page. Folks ask. They say, "Hey, I'm a member, but I want to give more." Or some people say, "You know what? I can't really swing a membership. Can I just give like a one-time contribution every once in a while?" I said, that's a great question. So I created the donate function for all you folks to do that. So it's there. If you want to support the Pew Science and you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can donate, and those funds go directly into the business. That would be great. It would mean a lot. So thank you. It does help. Now, if you don't want to spend any money, and I can't blame you, especially in these trying times, there's something you can do for free. It's spreading the word about this podcast, rating it with a good rating on your favorite podcast provider like iTunes. You can let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome, and frankly, we'll normalize the use of suppressed small arms. Every hunter will start using a silencer, which of course will give way to more proliferation of silencers to the general populace until basically every weapon sold is suppressed, and it'll be a lot quieter for everyone in the world. That's what I say. Okay. 4 topics for you today. Topic 1. As promised, Sound Signature Review 658, the Rugged Razor on the 5.56 Mark 18. Technical discussion, as promised. Remember, I announced it early last week due to the holidays, and I told you this time we talk technical. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll dissect that wonderful information and make sure we're all on the same page, okay? The data came early. Talk about it. Now, topic 2, Pew Science Member Research Supplement 659. This also came early. This was the Rugged Razor with a 5.56 end cap. Okay, we'll talk about some quick technical notes about this. This is an early Thanksgiving treat for members. Okay, so thank you for your support. Topic 3, I just went hunting. I just told you that. Yeah, a lot of great deer. I saw a lot of great deer. Didn't take a deer, but I did take a large hog. Used the CGS Hyperion on the Q-Fix. It was a great experience. We'll talk about that. And finally, topic 4, the grassroots support of the Pew Science Initiative is great. I wanted to mention that specifically, and the industry is taking note, which is very important. Several manufacturers have indicated that change is being forced. Innovation is being spurred by the data analysis being published. So what does that mean? That means that Pew Science members are directly responsible for the phenomenon. You see. So I'm going to toot your horn. Oh my God, he says he's going to toot our horn. Is he allowed to do that? It's 2021. I can do anything I want. Okay. All right, we're going to move into topic 1 in a time of 14 minutes and 51 seconds. This is going to be a long podcast today. I can just feel it. I'm just going on and on. Plus, It's the 90th episode, so that means I can talk a long time, right? I don't know what logic I'm using. Apparently none. All right, topic 1. Sound signature review 658. One moment. Yeah, 658. The rugged razor in the 556 Mark 18. I'm going to pause this. Hold on. My throat. I got a frog in my throat. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Had a frog in my throat, as they say. Sound signature review 658. The rugged razor on the 556 Mark 18. Technical discussion. Yeah, the data came early. I talked to you about this last week before I went away on this short Thanksgiving vacation, but I wanted to talk technically about this. Now, man, oh my goodness gracious. When you think, I just pulled up the review here on pewscience.com. You can, if you follow along at home, you can kind of get some visual cues of what I'm blabbing about on the episode here, because I think this is going to be a long topic, so strap in, as they say. We did it. We did do it, you and I. You listening and I. This effort, this Pew Science. We did it. We made it to 30 caliber rifle silencer land on 5.56. Did you think we were going to get there? Did you ever think we were going to get as far as putting a 30 caliber silencer on a 5.56 SBR? Maybe not. Maybe you didn't think. Maybe you didn't think we were going to get here, but we did. And, I gave you deliverables consistently. I do. And I know it takes me a bit. It takes me a bit to do it. And I often, or at least I used to be, not so much anymore. I used to be asked quite often, how do I speed it up? Well, I'll tell you, the speed at which data is released is a function of many factors. And one of those factors is my sanity. Okay, there are, again, many factors, but a major one is my brain. And so it is what it is right now. And I hope you understand when I tell you it is probably better that it goes like it's going. It's probably better this way. You probably don't want me to speed it up. There are a lot of reasons, but you don't want it, and you may think you want it. But long term, it will not be a good idea. And I will say, and this is very important, if you hear nothing else I say, listen to this. Relative to the quality of deliverable you are receiving, the pace is extremely fast. Of that, you can be sure. Okay? I just wanted to preface this because a lot of people, I've seen someone say, I think it was on ARFCOM a while back. I actually read this. Someone said, "Wake me up when 5.56 data is published," or "Wake me up when semi-auto data is published." I thought and this was like just me announcing some free data I was giving to the world for like a bolt action review or something. This person said that. That's all they said. No elaboration. And I read that. I didn't answer him. I didn't. I didn't really deserve a response, but I thought about that that popped in my head the other day. I thought about it. And I thought to myself, okay, everyone, it's a free country. So, people have certain desires. Some people have certain needs. They don't care about certain things. Sometimes people care about certain things other people don't care about. I get it. Hey, we all have our needs and our wants. I didn't hold it against the gentleman, but I did think it was interesting the way he said that in a public forum. He or she, I'm assuming he, let's be honest. So yeah. That's what I deal with, guys. Okay? Wake me up when 5.56. Well, gentlemen, sir, if you're out there listening, I hope you're awake now. Did I wake you up too harshly? Have you read this review? Okay. This is the second analytical test report with the rugged razor. The first of which was Sound Signature Review 616. I don't know if you remember that back in the day. I tested that silencer on Supersonic 308, the 7.62 by 51 NATO out of a 20-inch barrel. The silencer did okay back in that review. It's not the quietest, not the loudest, definitely not the loudest. Middle of the road performer, really, based on the parameters of concern when you consider that, really, for its size and weight and its intended use. Not bad, not great, not super bad. Not super great. You can check out the results. Check out the results of that previous test on pewscience.com. Review 616, 6.16. It got a, if I remember correctly, let's be honest, I'm not going to remember it. Let's pull it up. I'll pull up that previous review here. My computer. Yeah, so in that previous review, 616, back in July of last year, it got a 28.4 composite suppression rating on the 20-inch 308 bolt action, 13.4 at the muzzle, 28.1 at the ear. Okay, Supersonic 308 bolt action rugged razor. That's what it scored last year. Now, in this review, I'm going to click back on the 658 here, the new review 658, 42 Pew Science publications later, 42 articles later, where the razor's back. I took the exact same silencer with the exact same mount, the R3 flash hider. The only difference is it's threaded half 28 this time. Put it on the Mark 18, 10.3-inch barrel, 5.56 AR-15. So what changed from review 616 to this, review 658? In 42 articles, now what is the difference in the results? What's the difference? We changed the mount. I just told you that. We went from 5/8 24 to half 28. Okay, that's fine. We changed the cartridge. 7.62 NATO to 5.56 NATO. Okay, we cut the barrel in half. 20-inch to 10.3-inch. And then we introduced the complexity of a reciprocating bolt, the carrier, an H2 buffer, the whole assembly in the Mark 18. So reviews 616 and 658 both contain the rugged razor, but the test parameters are significantly different now. Okay, we've changed that's what we've done. We've taken one silencer. It's actually the exact same silencer, and we have changed the test parameters. We've changed the apparatus, haven't we? It's a different test, different experiment. Okay, now, what happens to the results? So the composite suppression rating dropped from 28.4 to 21.1. The big number at the top of the page. When I say composite suppression rating, I mean the big number at the top of the page. In the graphic there, in the review graphic, in every review, the big number, the biggest number, it dropped from 28.4 to 21.1. What does that mean? It means that the weapon system is louder overall. That's what it means. That big number is an overall ranking number. It just gives you a picture of overall loudness. Overall, it's a louder system. Okay? Now the muzzle suppression rating actually increased. It increased from 13.4 on the 20-inch 308 to 16.5 on the 10-inch 5.56. What does that mean? Well, it means to bystanders it's not quite as loud. That's what it means. Now, but the at-ear suppression rating decreased. It went from 28.1 on the bolt-action 308 to 18.6. That's quite a bit. What does that mean? What does that mean physically? What does it mean physically when the at-ear suppression rating drops from 28.1 to 18.6? What does that mean physically? It means that if you are the shooter, the Mark 18 platform is going to be louder to you with the razor than the 20-inch 308 bolt action. And what does louder mean? Let's talk about it. What does louder mean? When I say that, what does it mean? What does a drop in the suppression rating mean? What does it mean? What is louder as defined objectively? It means a higher risk of hearing damage. That's what it means. It means there's a more severe load on your ear. It will physically damage your inner ear more. Okay, and if I sound like I'm beating a dead horse right now, and I'm over explaining this, it's because there are people in the silencer industry, and let's be very clear who I'm speaking about. Marketing people. Okay, really just irrelevant relics of silencer past that are speaking about this and don't understand it. And I want to make sure you folks listening that are new to silencers understand that hearing damage is dose dependent. Okay? Different silencers result in different dose severity. And actual hearing damage happens when you are subjected to suppressed gunshots. Okay? When you shoot a silencer without hearing protection, you know what you're doing. Or I'm sorry. Yeah. When you shoot a suppressed weapon system without hearing protection, you are damaging your ears. Yes. When you shoot it more, you damage them more. Certain silencers can be shot more than others before hitting a damage threshold that is non-favorable to your comfort level. This is the physical manifestation of the suppression rating. This is the essence of the suppression rating. This is pew science. You see, this is real. This is, okay? So when you see a difference in suppression rating and you ask someone, well, what does that mean? It means there's more hearing damage or less hearing damage. And you say, well, what can I tell? Maybe you can. But does it matter if you can tell? Or does it matter that your ears are getting more damaged? Yeah, take the Pepsi challenge. Do it. Test your ears and blow out your eardrums. Do it. Really? Okay? So when people say things like that, they're being irresponsible and they don't care about you. They care about selling things and they care about their money. Okay? So just I want you to be very, very cognizant of people's agendas when they misrepresent technical data and physics. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. And we're going to move on now. We're going to talk about this data. We're going to talk about what it means, and we're going to make sure that folks listening continue to understand factual information. I'm serious, and if those of you who understand why I'm getting upset, you know why, and it's going to come to a head. And believe me, the leadership of these companies know it. They got to corral their little babies, and soon it's gonna, and chicken's gonna come home to roost. And what you're gonna go tell your customers to blow their ears out now for fun? Come on, guys, let's be a little more responsible with the public. Let's be a little bit more responsible with their ears. These people don't know. There's people out here that, frankly. And I'm not, I didn't even plan to talk about this. I'll talk about it. Frankly, you got these new shooters. They don't understand that gunshots are significant events, even when you put a silencer on the gun. I've run into people. They're like, oh man, these hunters. You see these hunters on social media. They're shooting a centerfire rifle with no hearing protection, unsuppressed, because they saw their dad and their grandpa do it. They're shooting a deer with no hearing protection on, with unsuppressed rifle. Then you have these new silencer guys, bless their hearts, that all they're wanting to do is be cool and get a silencer, and which I think that's cool. I think it's cool to get a silencer, and if that's the only reason you're getting a silencer to be cool, fine. Is that the best reason? Probably not. Is it a reason? It is. Are more people getting the silencers a good thing? Absolutely. So for whatever reason, they're getting these silencers, right? But they don't quite understand the hearing damage risk. And I got these people they're getting silencers. They put a 9mm silencer on their handgun. They're shooting it all day without ears. I'm like, okay, I know the manufacturer told you it was quote unquote hearing safe, but you're dosing yourself. Look at the at-ear suppression rating. Please, just look at it. Just look at it. And then look at the dose chart I created. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it the best you have on earth? Absolutely it is. Look at it. Look at this Rugged Razor thing. Look at this Rugged Razor review. Look at the suppression rating graphic in review 658 on the top of the page. Pew Science suppression rate. I'm going to read it to you right now. Pew Science suppression rating 21.1 in big bold letters. Detailed rating 16.5 at the muzzle, 18.6 at the ear. Cool. Scroll down, go to the suppression rating dose chart. Okay, ear 18.6. Cool. Go to the chart. 18.6. Okay, 0. Okay, 0. 18.6 is bigger than 0. Okay, I need to go vertically up. Okay, 18.6, somewhere between 10 and 20. Cool. Now I move to the right. Limited hunting engagement. What does that mean? I'm falling in a zone between self-defense, which clearly it's life and death, so who cares about your ears, all the way to a magazine or two, minimal suppression at 30. So I'm halfway in that zone. I'm 18.6. What does that mean? It's red. It's not green. What does that mean? That means that it's possible that there might be a significant hearing damage risk with an 18.6 rating at the ear. Don't believe me? That's fine. You don't have to believe me. But you know what you don't need to be doing? What you don't need to be doing is taking a few rifle silencers and putting them on a supersonic centerfire rifle and shooting them without ears to do a Pepsi challenge to test this. You know why you don't need to be doing that? Because you're going to be dosing yourself unnecessarily, and it's irresponsible to tell you to do that. That's why I would never tell you to do something like that. You know who would tell you to do something like that? A marketing guy. Be extremely careful. Not because they're going to take your money, which they will, but because they don't care about your health. Okay, they don't care about you. In the slightest, dude. Guys. They don't care about you at all. At all. They couldn't care less about you. The level of caring is so low that you are not a human being to them. Okay? Don't listen. Don't let it poison you. You're gonna fall into this trap, and you don't even need to look at the data on my website. I don't care. Throw it all in the trash. Never buy a silencer. Delete all the bookmarks. And if you're a Pew Science member, cancel your membership. I don't care. Don't give me anything. Don't listen to the podcast. Delete it. Unsubscribe. Cool. Doesn't affect me. Because I'm going to keep doing this for the love of the game and to benefit you, the public, and the industry. That's what Pew Science is. Okay? And I mean it. And I'm saying this to a lot of people right now. You know how many people listen to this podcast? Non-trivial. That's how many people. All right. Let's look at some data. Skip down to figure 1. Review 658, Rugged Razor. Figure 1. Let's look at it. All right. Good old-fashioned complete pressure waveforms. That's sweet, real physical data that's measured and reported correctly, baby. You can learn so much from it. Just look at it. It's right there. It's right there on the website. Figure 1. Figure 1. You know, people still wonder why I record it all. They do. They wonder, they say, why do you record all of the data in the entire time regime from initial combustion to complete blowdown, the entire gunshot? Why do you do it? It's because now we have the fingerprints. Look at figure 1B. Because you already look, you look at figure 1. Look at figure 1A. I've talked about this so many dang times, but I like talking about it because it's cool, because it's real, because it helps. Figure 1B, fingerprint. Razor in 5.56 in the Mark 18 for the first and second shot. Look at it. Click it. Make it bigger. I designed the website to do that. It's cool. And sometimes I mess up and I don't code it right, but most of the time when you, and let me know, please, tech@pewscience.com if I make a mistake. I code all of this. If you click the figure, usually it pops up bigger so you can see. That's on purpose to help you. Cool. Click on figure 1B. make it bigger. Fingerprint. You see the first major event for both shots. You see how it has a very fast rise to peak. That's something called rise time in a waveform. Just real quick, so you understand the vernacular. When you go from like almost nothing to high amplitude, and you do it really fast, and it's especially in the initial part, that denotes a really fast rise time, oftentimes denoting a discontinuity in of the disturbance in the medium. And that is a very fancy way of saying a shock. Okay? Now, notice how the first round has a bigger shock than the second round. So the black is higher than the blue, is what I'm saying on figure 1B. Okay? You're tracking? Why is that? Why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because of the air in the silencer before it was fired for the first time. And when you fire it and it's filled with air, additional combustion takes place. Combustion requires air. It's one of the main ingredients in combustion. and what that does, that manifests in additional overpressure out of the end cap. And how do we know that? Well, we're measuring it, and it's right here. And that's the cool part. That's what we measure. It's right here. Now, what else are we measuring? Like and I'm still on, what's the timestamp there? It's somewhere. It's a little after 29.7 milliseconds. I'm still on that event. I haven't moved. I'm still in that first little. I'm still in the first the major perturbation, the major first event here, the bullet exit and jet. I'm still there. What else are we measuring? What else are we measuring besides that combustion, guys? Well, there's also a shock caused by supersonic travel with a projectile. We talked about that last podcast. Remember, I talked about the downstream disturbance caused by supersonic flight and it projecting at the Mach angle. Remember? I did. And I've talked about it a couple times to you. Now, those events, the muzzle blast and that shock from flight couple together. They can. Depends on a couple factors, but in here they are coupled. Depending on the silencer, this coupling manifests differently due to flow rate. And why? Certain silencers have different flow rates. I mean, it is what it is. They trap combustion gases differently because they're different apparatus. They're different vessels. They have different flow rates, different characteristics. They're different. Every silencer is not the same. They're different. They're all different. They all have a fingerprint. They all behave differently. And we have the data to show it. It's proof. It's actually it's just it is. It just is. It's the way it is. I heard that saying before. It's like that because that's the way it is. No, but it is. This is real. And when a silencer manufacturer or a marketing guy and a silencer manufacturer tells you, all these guys, even forget the marketing guy, well, take an engineer, take a silencer engineer. When they tell you that they completely negate the first part of the waveform because it's all the same for every silencer because of supersonic flight of a bullet, that should immediately tell you that the silencer manufacturer is misunderstanding how rifle silencers work. And I feel like I have to say, and look, I mean, is this? I try not to pull punches. I try to be respectful, but not pull punches because I think I need to be candid with you. So you don't be fooled and tricked. I care about you. If I care about you enough to do this, I'm going to care about you enough to make sure you don't get tricked. So, I mean, because this has occurred publicly in writing from engineers from silencer companies and from a marketing guy at a major company. And, this data, it's not only public. This is the 58th article on the website, guys. What I'm showing you here is I'm showing you coupled shock from flight with muzzle blast, guys. All right, there's more happening than just the shock off the bullet. Come on. There's high pressure gas escaping, guys. There's muzzle blast being suppressed and coming out of the end cap. We're measuring it. These waveforms are combustion waveforms. This is pressure. This is overpressure in atmosphere. This is overpressure in free air. In fact, the technical term would be in the free field. We're measuring free field overpressure. That's what these waveforms are. They're free field. I mean, the ear waveforms that members see are pseudo free field. They're really not, because they have reflection off of the human head. And if you're familiar with the silencer sound standard, you understand that. But this is a true free field, guys. And this is real data. And I know for a lot of you this is old hat, and you're probably getting a little frustrated with me harping on it, but I haven't even gone. This is the first figure in the review, or technically the second, since it's 1B, but we haven't even moved past the first peak yet. And I'm telling you that this alone, guys, this alone is debunking what these people are saying. And it's a fraction of a second. And I've already explained to you why it's important, and why every silencer is different, and how this shows it. So it's the 58th article on my website. It's December of 2021. We're going into 2022. This isn't stopping. It's not going away. All right. So back on track. What does it mean when you have muzzle blast combined with shock? But without looking at anything, what does it mean when you have muzzle blast combined with shock? With flight shock? It means that gas is getting out of there pretty quickly, initially. What does that mean? Why? Well, it means that the flow rate is higher. It is what it is. It's just, you can't fake it. And that's the thing. Like, you cannot fake this data. The peaks might, you test this thing 100 times, guys. Do the same exact test 100 times. In fact, cool it to the same temperature. I mean, I'm talking repeat it on 100 days in a row in a building, in a climate control facility, 100 days in a row. Do it with a brand new silencer, exactly the same dimensions, exactly the same ammunition. Do it 100 times. Are you going to get a difference in waveform peak amplitudes? Absolutely, you're going to get a difference in the waveform peak amplitudes. You're measuring at a single point in space. You think it's not going to vary? But by the very nature of matter and energy, you're going to get a variation. But will you get a significant deviation in wave shape and overall combustion physics? Absolutely not. Because it's the silencer's fingerprint. Okay? So I just want to tell you that. I know I'm being a little crazy right now, but I had a long day. Okay, now. That part's simple. This part I just explained to you about the razor is simple. And you know what else is simple? If you go back to figure 1A, you know what else is simple? The bullet closing signature around 85 milliseconds. Go to figure 1A. Figure 1A, it's orange. It's orange because the 6th shot was last. It's overlaid last. You see that shot 6 doesn't have a perturbation at 85 milliseconds because the bolt doesn't close on shot 6 because the magazine was empty. The bolt locked back on the follower of the empty mag. I show that to you to prove to you that this is real. It's just, I don't even need to do that, guys. But I'm showing to you, that's how much I care. I care so much that I'm obsessed. I care obsessively to the point that, like, I care so much that I feel that if I miss anything, if I miss any little thing, I know someone's going to pick it apart. And if they pick it apart, that means that we stand a chance of losing the pedigree. I want to give you so much confidence that I've and frankly, if you're listening to this and you're a dynamicist or a combustion physicist, you understand that I don't need to go this deep in a lot of this. But only you and I understand which parts I could not go deep in, and the public's not going to know that. And so by giving everything, being so transparent, I guarantee efficacy of the effort to the point that if you look at figure 1b, what I'm saying here, the orange waveform doesn't have a blip at 85 milliseconds because of a physical phenomena of no bolt closing signature after the shot. And it happens really late in time. The rest of them happen really late in time. And why? It's because the razor isn't making the bolt move super fast, because it has a relatively high flow rate, especially for this platform. It's not severely restricting the flow rate, so the back pressure isn't severe, so the bolt doesn't unlock too early, so the pressure at unlock isn't super severe, so the bolt velocity isn't super high, so the bolt closing time doesn't happen super fast. It's just an indicator. Are the blips at around 85 milliseconds in figure 1b the most reliable? Is that the most reliable indicator? No. I say no. It's not the most reliable indicator. And why is that? It's because of weapon system variables like cleanliness. Cleanliness in the upper receiver can foul it and change that timing. But nonetheless, it's an indicator. And I talk about it in the article in detail. But everything has a disclaimer. Everything is qualified. Everything is black and white. Well, also colors. I like the black, the blue, the red, the green, the purple, the orange. There are colors in the waveform. If you're colorblind, you may not see those. That's fine. But what I'm saying is this is written down forever. It's on. It's not changed. It's there. Okay. It's there. It's all there. Now, that's the simple part. I told you it was simple. That's simple. What's simple? What's simple is fast gas out of the silencer. Bolt takes forever to come back because it didn't have to go. It wasn't going that fast. We've only looked at 2 graphs, and so far we have a high confidence that the back pressure of the rugged razor wasn't even super high on the Mark 18. We gained all that information, and all we had to do was look at the wave shapes. Cool. Awesome. That was simple. And you might say, oh, Jay, that's crazy. You're crazy. It's not simple. You're crazy. That's complicated. It's like, yeah, maybe, except there's something that's way more complicated because that was simple. That's the simple part. What's not simple is the impulse. This can blow your mind. Look at figure 2. Now, figure 2. Now, this is something I just discovered recently because I frankly, I was busy and I didn't have a chance to examine stuff super big bit. I was kind of like, okay, I get it. But I was like, so I took a deeper dive myself. This is one of those things I was kind of late on, and then I came back to it, and I was like, oh, yeah, duh. It was one of those things oh, duh, you idiot. Why didn't you look at this sooner? You know what I mean? So, the impulse, figure 2. All right. There are some things going on here that are very interesting. Relatively high flow rate silencer for the cartridge. We saw that. It has measurable FRP in pressure space. You saw that. And we are seeing that it also has measurable FRP in impulse space. Why? Why would I say that? Why would I say that it has measurable FRP in impulse space? It's because the slope is steeper on the front of the impulse curve. You can see that more closely in figure 2b. Figure 2b. Click on it, make it bigger. All right, I just did that too, so we can follow along with me. Now, the slope is steeper on the front of the impulse curve for the black curve there. Shot 1. There, yeah, FRP. That's why. Why? Extra combustion sooner. Why? FRP, extra oxygen. Boom. That's what that is. Physical manifestation of the fast impulse slope is FRP. It's real. It's real, Dad. I promise. You know how long it would take me to fake this? Oh my God. It would be I don't even have time to think about how I would do that. That's how long it would take. So, I mean, it would be painstakingly ridiculous. It'd be like an art project. Now, here's what gets crazy. So far, you're like, okay, that's still simple, Jay. Like, I already knew that. That's how the omega metric works. Duh. Yes, you're 100% right, my friend. However, what's a little weird is the higher peak impulses, almost progressively occurring, frankly, somewhat erratically, of each shot after the FRP. So the FRP results in some higher initial pressure events, but after that, there are some erratic impulse waveforms happening. And the decay is relatively consistent. So that, the slopes are relatively consistent. I'm going to click on figure 2A. You see the decay slope, around 32.5 milliseconds. Like, they almost start to lie on top of each other again. You're like, whoa, it's wild. Negative phase coming up all at the same time, and you're like, okay, that looks right. And we can't fake that. That's interesting. So I was looking at that, I was like, huh. The decay's consistent. The slopes are consistent. Like after FRP, and when the slopes relax a little bit because there's no ancillary combustion, and they lie on top of each other, like, cool. And then the back end is straight, and you're like, cool. You're like, okay. But there seems to be it's weird. It's almost like there's extra combustion going on, like in the top end. Like, they're all weird. They're all over the place on the top end, right? So it's not. This isn't ammo. If the front is the same and the back is the same, but the middle's different, it's not ammo. You understand what I say? What I mean when I say that? Like, you don't need to do a statistical analysis to understand that. Look at that's why pictures are important. Okay, that's why pictures, like, enough. I mean, some of these silencer guys, they get. I've seriously, a major silencer designer in the industry once told me, well, I do like to do a sensitivity analysis with the spread of the dB, and I'm gonna look at the peak dB. We're gonna look at how much it varies, and we're gonna look at the standard deviation. And I'm like, really? You're gonna look at the standard deviation of the peak dB on a waveform? Really? That's what you're gonna do? Yeah, and you're going to draw you're going to draw a meaningful conclusion from that? Really? Are you? Or are you going to plot the waveforms, especially the impulse, and overlay them on each other, then look at the gross behavior? Wouldn't that be smarter? Yes. Why would it be smarter? Because it's a holistic signature, my friends. And combustion physics are highly erratic in free air. And with a single point measurement. Now, if you're going to do standard deviation and you want to use a microphone array with 32 microphones per foot, then we'll talk. But until then, stop. Okay? So sorry, I'm a little bit heated. Okay, back to this. I don't want to get too far off track. Now, this middle section here. I've said this before. I try not to publish anything without full understanding. Okay, I really do. It's a goal of mine. It's a personal goal. It's not your. You don't dictate that. No one does. I do. It's a personal goal and something I adhere to. Okay, it's a principle. And I try not to publish anything without full understanding of the phenomena that's occurring. And this is one of those times that I decided to give an educated guess. I think I know what's going on because I didn't want to delay the publication. And I think I know what's going on, and I tell myself, I'm happy enough. I think I understand this, and frankly, here's why. I'm still looking into it, but I mostly understand, I think. I think what's happening with the Razor in Figure 2A is a consequence of the 10.3-inch 5.56 host weapon. And that is brought about, or rather, that is facilitated by the small amount of baffles in the Razor and the large orifice. I think that the flow rate being high results in the secondary blast from the unburnt powder building from shot to shot and showing up as it occurs. I think that's what's happening, and the silencer can't contain it. I think, and I think this is showing, guys. This is spoiler alert. I think I said it in writing in the review. This is showing an inefficiency in the Razor on this platform. It doesn't have enough baffles, and the hole's too big, and this is showing that. It's interesting, and here's some supporting evidence for the court. If you look closely, it's really wild. It happens in the OSS 556 review too, on the Mark 18. It happens in the OSS review too. It does. But you know where it doesn't happen? It doesn't happen in the Surefire or the Saker. It's wild, right? Same ammo, same host. In fact, these were just the same day, like back to back. That's how, you can't get any more of the same. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Like, this is like the same. And I did that for a reason. I've done a lot of test series that you haven't seen, that you'll never will see, to understand what matters and what doesn't. And I wanted to make sure of some stuff. And I did one of those double, triple, quadruple sure things on this one. And I'm so sure that it's right, that it's awesome. Oh, 1 second. Oh, well, I'm going to pause it. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I keep losing my voice. I have to cough. So, yeah, what I was saying is, I actually don't remember what I was saying. But I think what I was saying is that it's flow rate. It's flow rate. We are getting a high flow rate situation trying to contain secondary muzzle blast. And it's a 10.3 inch 5.56 phenomena. Okay? I showed it to you first thing. I did. Public Research Supplement 651. Go back and look at it if you forgot. If you go back and look at Research Supplement 651, that is public for members or the public. That is not there's no pay anything. Anyone can see that. Anyone in the entire world can read it. Look at Figure 2A and 2B of that article. Look at the 10.3 inch 5.56 secondary blast. Look at it in pressure. Look at it in impulse. What do you see? You see a 30% jump in unsuppressed impulse on the 10.3 inch 5.56 than you did on 20 inch 308. So if you look back at the rugged razor on 20 inch 308, remember Sound Station Review 616? If you go back to Review 616, you're going to see some erratic stuff too in the peak impulse. Same FRP story, same faster rise in the first shot, but you'll see a little bit of erratic peak shot to shot. Now in this review, 658 with 10.3 inch 5.56, that behavior is more pronounced. And I postulate, and here it is, I postulate that is a direct result of secondary burning. The barrel on the 5.56 it's too short for the cartridge. High flow rate, this is going to show up. With the OSS, the high flow rate happens, but you're suppressing more due to the suppression mechanism. You see the erratic, you still see the erratic nature, but the silencer is quieter. You know, with the Razor, the high flow rate happens. It's not as high as the OSS, and it's louder. It's weird. The rugged Razor doesn't have as high a flow rate as the OSS, but it's louder than the OSS. It's weird. 4 baffles the Razor has. 4 baffles trapping gas, suppressing, but not as well as the flow-through design of the OSS. It's weird. This is one of the things that's blowing my mind. And I keep going back to the OSS, and I'm like, what? It's one of those things that you wouldn't believe it if I didn't test it. I mean, I didn't believe it until I tested it. And, the OSS is literally suppressing sound better than the Razor and doing it with a higher flow rate. Is it magic? Sort of is. In a way, I mean, it almost is like magic to me. Heat transfer, probably. Probably heat transfer. Regardless, it's a very big deal. It is, guys. And I know I've kind of gone off the rails on this podcast a little bit, but let's come back to earth and talk about this. This is a big deal because, you guys realize what this means. I didn't say it in this review, but I did hint at it. The Razor. Did I say it? I hinted at it. Did I say it? No. In the review, I said the Razor is an inefficient silencer for the Mark 18 or something like that. I think I said that. And that's true. If you have a lower flow rate than the OSS and the OSS is quieter on the weapon, that means the razor isn't as efficient. Interesting, right? I mean, it's a 30 caliber bore. The OSS is 22 caliber bore. So the OSS has a smaller main hole, but more gas pads. And the net result is a higher flow rate. The razor has a bigger main hole and only one gas path. And the net result is a lower flow rate. But the razor's louder. Sounds louder at the muzzle. 1 meter away, it's going to be more damaging to your ear than the OSS and the Mark 18. Now this is, pay attention. What I'm telling you is that the razor is louder 1 meter away than the OSS, and it's going to be more damaging to your ear than the OSS on the Mark 18. 1 meter away. And guess what that means? Guys, guess what that means? It means you're already starting at a deficit if you're the shooter. If you are the shooter, because you have to worry about ejection port signature too. I mean, guess what? Your back pressure on the 30 caliber razor is slightly higher than that of the 22 caliber OSS. So you're gonna have a more severe ejection port signature, and that's gonna couple with more severe muzzle signature, and you're gonna lose all around. The 22 caliber OSS has is a 27.5 at ear suppression rating on the Mark 18. And the 30 caliber razor has an 18.6 at ear suppression rating. That, my friends, is almost a full category difference at the ear. That is non-trivial. That's a big deal. That's going to really make a difference for the weapon operator. Remember my conversation earlier when I was getting heated because, and I was telling you that like the difference matters. Like, okay, how much physically does that matter to your ear? I can compute it. I can actually compute it, and members see some interesting stuff with regard to like comparisons with inner ear damage. But I'm not going to be able to tell you like in a simple fashion what 18.6 suppression rate at the ear versus 27.5. I can't tell you what you're gonna hear, other than the fact that when you drop from 27.5 at the ear to 18.6, it's almost a full category. So when you use the suppression rating chart as a guide, it's based on hearing damage, guys. It's real. I don't care what you're okay with. This is the reality. So find a baseline and pick it. Like it's louder, dude. It's louder and it's more damaging. The annotations on the chart are there to guide you. With unprotected ears, you're dealing with that. When I say limited hunting engagement, that means don't shoot a bunch without ears, dude. When I say a magazine or two, that means you can shoot a little more without ears. Limited practice, you can shoot a little more. Full range day, well, what does that mean? Shoot it all day at the range. A few boxes of ammo, you're hanging out with your friends, you shoot some more. High volume fire, you're shooting like you don't matter. Does not mattering how much you're shooting when you're above 60. Extremely high volume fire above 70. Well, that's just fun. If you have pre-existing hearing damage, are you going to have some slight discomfort in a zone that someone else might not? You might. I know I do. My right ear is significantly damaged. I oftentimes have to use a silencer. If we're shooting without hearing protection, I oftentimes have to use a silencer in an incredibly high zone just to not bother my ear. Why? It's because I didn't know what I was doing when I was younger shooting. I didn't have pew science. Okay. So the difference in the razor to the OSS at the shooter's ear on the Mark 18, which is a loud weapon, 18.6 to 27.5. You do the math yourself. That's almost 10 points. All right. It's almost a category of delineation on the chart. Put it in perspective. Look at the ranking section. Look at the spread. Put it in perspective. Don't focus on the exact number. Just look at the spread. It's louder. That's all you need to know. All right, it's louder. So this article is really important. You already know about the razor. We've talked about it before. I talked about it in a previous episode a long time ago when I talked about the review, review 616 on 308. And folks kind of wondered. They said, hey, this silencer is kind of small. It's kind of similar in size to some of the 5.56 silencers. I can use it on 5.56 and my 30 caliber stuff. Cool. That's what people are thinking. Guys, I have it right in front of me, right here, sitting on my desk. It's my personal silencer. This is my personal razor. I tested my razor, my silencer. I bought this. Form 4 transfer. Full price. Retail. This is mine. I'm a consumer, dude. I am not a manufacturer of silencers. I do not sell silencers. I do not care what you buy. I bought this silencer. This is my silencer. I tested it. I've had it. I've shot it for years. It's super high quality. It's cool looking. The mount is awesome. It's a tank. You can't break it. It's durable. It's handy. It's not that heavy. It's not that big. It's versatile. Good product. But it's primitive. And that primitive design shows up in real performance metrics on both supersonic 308 bolt action and semi-auto 5.56 SBR. It just does. It shows up. All in all, I do like the razor. I don't think people should be unhappy with the razor. If you have it, don't be unhappy. Please, I implore you, do not be unhappy. It's a good silencer. It is. You shouldn't be unhappy by any means. I'm actually not unhappy with mine, but I do understand its limitations. It's important to understand limitations of things, including yourself. Does the razor have some use cases for me personally? I mean, yeah. I use it over a few things, honestly. The quality is a big deal, actually. That is one aspect of the rugged stuff that I cannot overemphasize. And I'm not saying they're the absolute best, but I'm telling you, if you're in this game for long enough, you'll see the quality is a big deal to me, and I like that about the razor. It's a dependable silencer. And that, I think, is worth something. A quality, dependable product is that alone, even separate from performance, quality and dependability, it is in and of itself worth something. But for the Mark 18 guys, God, you see the data in the review. Let's go. I skipped from. I didn't even show you more. Talk about more of it. Let's scroll down, all the way down. Section 658.2 suppression rating comparison. Figure number 5. Click and make it bigger. Clicking to make number 5 bigger. Look at this. Surefire SOCOM 556 RC2 walks the floor with the razor on the Mark 18. It walks it, dude. Like like bad, real bad. It kills the razor on the Mark 18. It's quieter at the ear, despite having higher back pressure than the 30 caliber razor. And I realize you don't have the 5.56 Omega metric yet. I know. I'm just telling you for your info right now. Just be patient. But I'm telling you the 5.56 RC2 has higher back pressure than the 30 caliber razor. Okay, it just does. And it's still quieter at the ear than the razor on the Mark 18. What does that tell you? It tells you the significantly quieter muzzle signature of the RC2 is dropping the at-ear signature so much that the lower back pressure of the razor doesn't even matter. It matters, but it matters barely. The low back pressure of the razor can't catch the RC2 because the razor's so loud at the muzzle, is what I'm telling you. For sound, the razor, but the lower back pressure of the razor does matter for like toxicity probably compared to the RC2, but not for sound, really. Listen, could the ejection port signature be lower using the razor? Could the actual ejection port signature be lower using the razor? Well, sure. But all the lower ejection port signature in the world won't matter to your ears when the muzzle signature wraparound is blasting you in the face. Remember, Remember, the muzzle signature matters too, guys. The blast waves expand spherically in 3D space, guys. This is physics. It's real. This is real. This is real life. So on an SBR, on a 10.3-inch barrel 5.56 with a short silencer, where is that muzzle pressure source relative to your head? Bro, it is super close to your head. You got 10-inch barrels right there. You put your face on that AR, you're all up on that charging handle. You know you're putting you're putting your nose on that charging handle like a lunatic. You're right. You're all up in that, dude. You're all up in it. How close is that? How close is that muscle to your head? How close is it? 10.3-inch barrel with a 5.56 silencer, short silencer. What are you doing? You're blasting your head with razor muzzle signature, and it's going to drop the at-ear signature in conjunction with the ejection port signature, and your at-ear suppression rating is going to plummet, guys. It gets so low that the 5.56 silencer with higher back pressure, the RC2, beats it at the ear. And the host hasn't even been tuned yet. Imagine tuning the gun for the RC2. Imagine. What if I put an H3 buffer in there instead of the H2 with the RC2? What if I did that? Would that matter? Well, we'll see, we'll see. But it's food for thought, right? It's food for thought. I know you guys are catching on to this, because I know there's people on Reddit, whenever I do these reviews, they talk about it, dude. They talk about it because they want to know. They talk about it. Yeah? They talk about it. Because they're thinking it. They understand science. They're looking at it. They're like, oh my God, he's testing this. Oh my God, what happens now? They're just like me. They want to know. They want to be inquisitive. They want to know, what is the weapon system doing? How can we tune it? How can we optimize the AR-15 platform for suppression? Are we chipping away at that riddle, like slowly but surely with every review? Absolutely. I'm one man. I am but one man. But with many people helping me, I can do it. I promise. I will do this. I will figure it out. Now, let's talk about something else that's crazy. Let me get a drink of water 1 second. Okay, this is crazy. Let's look at the Saker. I'm still on figure 5. Look at the Saker here. Yeah. The Saker decimates your face with early bolt unlock on the Mark 18, right? We talked about that, right? Crazy ejection port signature, wild, really damaging, not cool, very loud, excessive back pressure, horrible. Okay. Given that hyperbole that I just described, it is only 1 point lower in suppression rating at the ear with that with that silencer than the Razor on the Mark 18. 17.7 versus 18.6 at the ear. So the Razor is 1 point quieter at the ear than the super high back pressure Saker 5.56. That's how loud the Razor is compared to these 5.56 bore silencers at the muzzle. That's how loud the Razor is at the muzzle on 5.56 compared to these other ones. It's wild, right? It's wild. I bet you didn't understand before this. You didn't really understand the gravity. Now you're seeing the complexity of AR testing, aren't you? Especially SBR, especially the Mark 18. Yeah. Now you're seeing like the sheer ridiculousness of what we're doing. So the Surefire. Think about this. The Surefire can really hurt you at the ear with the war comp. Yeah, you saw that. It drops you to 13.3, right? But no one's using war comps with their RC2s after Pew Science data in 2021. Is anyone still doing that? I don't. I promise, man. Anyone sees my article is like, oh my God, I'm not using that anymore. It's like, good, don't. You're hurting yourself. The data's real. It's meaningful. It's funny. It takes a huge mount leak with the RC2 for the Razor to beat it at the ear on the Mark 18. That's how loud that Razor is. So now do you see? What happens when you overbore a silencer for the cartridge? Excuse me. You do not need a 30 caliber bore for 5.56 to suppress. Does that mean you can't use a 30 caliber bore to suppress 5.56? No, I didn't say that. But the myth that all 30 caliber silencers are fine on 556 because 556 is loud is one of the craziest statements I have ever heard. Look at figure 5. Look at it. That is an insane graphic. When you really think about it, that's insane. It's a big deal. It shows how incredible the OSS is, actually. You know, I can tell you right now, if this isn't making you love the RC2 and the OSS, I mean, really, really love both those silencers just from a pure technical perspective right now. I don't know. Personally, it makes me appreciate them both significantly. Just in this micro data set examining it, it's like they're standing out to me. The Surefire is quite impressive, frankly. It's impressive. And I say that both subjectively and objectively. It's insane to me, figure 5. Check it out, man. Figure 5, check it out. So all in all, is the Razor good for the Mark 18? I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. If you have it, go wild. That's what I say. Can you improve it? I mean, it has 4 baffles. And the hole's big. It needs to do more, guys. The Razor needs to do more. Can you make it do more? What if you change the end cap to 556? You can trap more gas. Yeah, you can trap more gas. What happens if you do that? Is that going to help you? Will it hurt or help? How exactly will it influence the signature on the Mark 18? Next topic. Topic 2 at a time of 1 hour. 16 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay, definitely spent more than an hour on that topic. Okay, topic 2, Pew Science member research supplement 659, the rugged Razor with the 556 end cap technical notes. Yeah, the early Thanksgiving treat for members. Thank you for your support. All right, I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had a technical difficulty. Yeah, so topic 2. You know, I am not going to discuss this on the podcast. I'm really not. I wanted to mention it for members and mention it for those of you who weren't aware of it, but I'm not going to discuss it. This is for members, this data, and I'm not going to discuss it publicly unless I eventually release the article publicly. I think that's fair. It's value-added information for members who choose to contribute to the state of practice. And I really mean it when I say that. Like, I'm sure people steal things, but, you know, hey, you're only stealing from yourself. You know, did you know, because I get people tell me all the time. People tell me, oh man, all these people trying to, my Pew Science members, they're loyal. They're loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind guys. And they'll let me know, people who are basically just asking them to steal Pew Science member data and give it to them. I'm like, oh my God. It's so cheap too. It's like, really? It's like you're stealing from yourself, guys. You're stealing from yourself. Like that. It's not like, you remember back in the day when like we were downloading MP3s and the drummer of Metallica got super mad at everybody. And he was like, you're stealing music from artists and and like everyone like laughed at him because like, it's frankly like what you think, like kids are like, we were already like dubbing like song. We were hitting record on our tape decks, recording songs off the radio so we could listen to them on our Walkmans later. What, you think we're not going to download MP3s to listen to the music? Like, come on, man. People are going to do that, right? So I get it. I mean, people are going to steal stuff. They're going to pirate software. They're going to steal data. I get it. But in this case, you guys understand that the only reason this even exists is because the Pew Science members are supporting it. And without them, I wouldn't do Pew Science. And if those of you who don't really know me, which none of you do really, unless you actually know me in real life, personally, like I can literally pull the plug on this and disappear. So this is for you. Okay, this is not like, you know what I mean? So when I say I appreciate members, I do. I really do. And I mean it. Serious as a heart attack, I mean it. And that's why it's a gift to them in return for them helping me do this for them and for you listening, even if you're not a member. So I will say, if you own a Razor and you use it on 556, hey man, you might want to check it out. I'm not going to push you to join. I'm not doing that. I'm not. But I'm telling you that the information could help you. It could. And if you're not interested in this, then fine, cool. Don't read it. That's whatever. You know what I mean? It's not everything is for you. You're a snowflake. You are a unique person, and everyone has different needs and desires and wants. So you may not care, and that's fine. If you want to further understand how end cap orifice can change behavior in this flow regime and this flow restriction regime, a 4 baffle 30 caliber silencer and 5.56 SBR, this member research might be valuable to you too. If you don't have a razor and you don't care about it because of that, but you care about it because you want to understand more about the combustion physics, well, and the impact on the human ear, well, maybe in the firing sequence, maybe this is for you too. I'm just trying to give you more information just in case you're on the fence, And if you're not interested, that's fine. I can tell you, and this is the last thing I'll say about this, I can tell you most certainly this information is not available anywhere else in the world. None of the articles on pewscience.com are available anywhere else. So all the stuff that you can read just for free, which is most of it, it's not available anywhere else. Because nobody in the history of the world has ever done this. And that, my friends, is real life. That's right. Topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 59 seconds. Just went hunting. I did. It was awesome. A lot of great deer. Didn't kill a deer. That's why they call it hunting and not shooting, as they say. I shot a big old hog. I did. I took a picture of the gun I used. Let's talk about it. Yeah. You see, it's a cool picture. I posted with the podcast. It's a European mount. It's a European mount is when you take the skull of the animal and you bleach it white. Sometimes you put it on a pretty wood plaque like I have there. My taxidermist did that for me. He's a good guy. That's the skull. That's the skull of a white-tailed deer that I shot last year. And I just got it back because I hadn't got around to going to the guy, and he had a delay and the whole thing, and there's a whole delay, but I got it from him. And I shot that deer with the Hyperion K on the 16-inch 308 fix that I have. I can't remember how far I was away, like 150 yards or something. Shot him in the heart. With the 308 fix, Hyperion K. It was awesome, dude. It was awesome. Hyperion K was used in the killing of 2 other deer. Last year too, a doe. I shot a doe and another buck. The other buck was shot by my lady. She shot the other buck. Now this year, just this past weekend, I used the full size Hyperion on the gun instead of the Hyperion K. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it. It was the Spooky Zero situation where I put because I got the new scope, right? So I was like, I'm changing something. I'm going to have to re-zero anyway. Why not change the silencer because I hadn't really shot the full-size Hyperion on 16-inch 308 much. I was like, I should do that. So I did that. I zeroed it, and I took it out hunting with me, and I shot a relatively large sow hog. A sow, for those of you non-hunters, it's a female wild pig. She was the largest in the group of hogs. I picked her out not only for her size, but because she was a sow. If there were two equally sized pigs in a group, and one was a sow and one was a boar, I would kill the sow because I want to cut off the breeding operation. You feel me? Because it's a pest control situation. This is not, sometimes I actually do eat wild hog sometimes, but oftentimes I don't. They're an invasive species and I kill them because I don't want them there. So she was the largest in the group of hogs. She was near this corn feeder near where I was hunting, where we feed the deer, and I shot her in the neck. I broke her spine. I shattered her spine with the supersonic 308. Using the Hyperion was very interesting. I was sitting in a pop-up ground blind. I love it. It's one of the. It's the same one I told you about when I compared shooting the 308 fix with the rugged Radiant. I compared that to shooting that to the Hyperion, shooting with the Hyperion K. And the Hyperion K was just quiet enough for me to use the 308 16-inch fix. So I knew the full-size Hyperion was going to do very well. I knew it. I knew it was going to do very well. I don't have test data for the Hyperion on 16-inch 308, but I do have it on 20-inch 308. And I have a good idea about what happens with the Hyperion technology as the pressure gets higher with long-duration combustion from 308. I have a good idea. I understand the phenomenology. I've looked at the waveforms. I've done the hearing analysis. I've done the inner ear analysis. I've looked at the combustion physics. I've tested a lot of silencers with 308. I feel very confident in the performance of the Hyperion technology. I understand what it does. I understand how it works. And I felt very confident that I was not going to need, I wasn't going to need hearing protection for that shot, even sitting on the ground with the reflecting surface of the blind next to me and the ground closer to me. I felt I was going to be okay. And I knew that it was accurate because I had already I took one shot to sight it in, and then I kept shooting. It was dead on. So the confidence I had on that weapon combination was appropriate. When I shot that pig, oh boy, howdy! When I shot that pig, I heard that satisfying thud. It's really cool. If you've never done this, if you've never shot a hog at relatively close range, like within 100 yards with a supersonic rifle that's suppressed with a very quiet silencer, if you've never done this, you hear a doosh, like this thud. And then I hit the spine, so it was like a because I can't do it. I can't do the sound justice, but it was just like you hear this like someone dropped a big old phone book on your desk, like on top of like a Fabergé egg. I don't know, something delicate that cracked. It was like a thud and a crack of the spine. And when that spine exploded, I knew that shot was perfect. That hog dropped instantly. It convulsed and it bled out everywhere, dude. Insta-kill. I love it, dude. That's what hunting is all about. Clean kills, right? No suffering. Now, in this case, like I said, it was pest control, but still, man, I'm a firm believer in making the cleanest shots you can on animal, guys. I am. You hit the vitals, you don't mess around. You want a quick death. You don't want to go to Africa and start shooting an animal with an underpowered cartridge, and you shot it, but by the time you've shot them 5 times, they're still not dead. That's not how you hunt, dude. You use enough gun. Use enough gun. 2, use responsible and practiced marksmanship. 3, use the combination of these parameters for ethical kills. Be ethical, dude. Don't cause suffering for the sake of it and for your amusement. Okay, it'll come back to you in the next life. You don't want to be doing that. You gotta respect it. Gosh, man, even the pests. You just try to be good. Just be a good person. It's just important. Or don't, whatever. You're like, Jay, enough. Don't lecture me about morals. Tell me about silencer boy. That's fine if you think that, but this is my podcast. You don't have to listen if you don't want to. So yeah, what I'm saying is like, practice shooting. Every hunter is gonna come. There's gonna come a point in every hunter's life where they pull a shot and they either miss an animal or they miss the kill zone and they wound an animal, and you try to track it and you lose it, and that animal dies a slow, painful death. And that those moments are going to haunt you for the rest of your life. And it's going to happen to everybody. It's happened to me. It's going to happen to you too if you hunt. And any hunter that says it hasn't happened to them, they haven't hunted long enough. So what I'm saying is, you'll know what it feels like, and so try to prevent it. You're never going to be perfect, but you can certainly practice, and you can certainly try to lower the probability of the occurrence. Okay, so just lower the risk of it. But just try to use enough gun, and maybe shooting with the silencer is going to allow you to practice more. Maybe you get better. because it's less jarring when you shoot. Put on your ears, go shoot a suppressed rifle. It's going to reduce your recoil a little bit, and it's certainly going to make it more pleasant to shoot. Plus, you're cool, and you're like a ninja assassin sniper boy because you have a silencer, so you're cooler than everybody else. Be cool. Shoot silencers. Yeah, so now on social media, I did want to address this because I did say this, and I got a lot of... Actually, I can see whenever I share something on social media, I can see the reach of what happens and how it proliferates. Like, people get insane when I say stuff. I have to be very careful what I say. I remarked that I may go back to a shorter silencer for hunting with a 308 fix. It was a thought I had, and you know me, I'm very impulsive. Sometimes I say things, and I'm thinking, I'm going to say it. That's just my personality, the way I am. Now, part of the reason I said thought I was going to go back to a shorter silencer instead of the full-size Hyperion on the 308 fix is because I added a bipod, which, by the way, I did not use for hunting this weekend, but I have it on the gun just in case. This time I actually shot off of some shooting sticks I had, so I wasn't laying prone to use the bipod. So I had the bipod on the gun, but I didn't use the bipod, if that makes sense. So I didn't need to use the bipod necessarily, but I had been doing some walking around, like some walk and stock stuff. So I've been walking around, and I thought maybe I was going to need the bipod, so I kept it on. It's one of those things where sometimes like you think to yourself, well, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it type of situation. And that's why I had the bipod on there. I rarely have taken a bipod hunting. It is very rare. I like the bipod for stationary shooting and like target shooting and stuff. I rarely have it, but this time I did. So I kept. I just wanted to carry the rifle in a full weight configuration to get a feel for it out in the field for several days, just to know what my threshold was. Just to test myself, to understand like what I would put up with, and I was thinking, well, I might drop down to the ground and get a shot while I'm walking around, so I'm going to leave it on there. So, I didn't use it, but I could have. So that kind of led me to think about, oh man, with the added weight of the bipod and the full-length Hyperion, the gun got a little more bulky to me. Not terrible. It's not terrible by any means. And you can see in the picture I posted today, not terrible by any means, just a little bit more bulky. So because last year it was just the Hyperion K and no bipod. I was thinking to go back to the K, maybe the Hyperion K, but the sound of shooting that pig with a full-size Hyperion, man, it was so seductive, dude. It was nice. I could split the difference and go Helios QD TI, and honestly, that would be a great option too. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have these silencers with me. Like, I'm not saying like I have to go CGS. I'm just saying like I have these in inventory and they work well, so I like them. And this is just a personal thing. Like, remember, I don't care what you buy. Throw all silencers in the trash. I don't care. Disclaimer. If this is the first time you're listening to this, I don't want someone to come up and say, oh, Jay's a shill. Okay, well, relax. I can have any silencer I want. Okay, so I don't need anyone's charity. But yeah, so I was thinking Helios QD TI because it's light. And I don't know if you guys remember when I talked about the 16-inch fix in my qualitative experience last year. I could tell a difference to my naked ear shooting it, like standing. I could tell the difference between the Hyperion K and the Helios QD TI and the 16-inch 308 fix. So I'm not sure the difference was worth the extra length for hunting, maybe, but if you're, I don't know, like if sometimes my right ear hurts just because it's pre-existing damage, so that's kind of one of the reasons I would kind of want to use Hyperion, because I know I'm safe with it. It's just a safety factor thing. It's just a risk management thing. It's my personal risk tolerance for my own ears based on the fact that I might be closer to the ground. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me, dude. It's not you, it's me. It's just a personal decision. Everyone, they're my ears, not your ears. Okay, so I know that I need to worry about that. So I was thinking Helios QD TI is going to be quieter than the Hyperion K, but the Helios QD TI doesn't have a taper mount. But I have a taper mount that screws in the back of the Helios QD TI because I got that from Liberty Precision Machines. So that serves the purpose for that. So I could use it, same. I could use it for, because you know what I do when I travel for hunting, I disconnect the direct thread silencer off the fix, and I put it in a little pocket in my MP5 case, and I fold the fix and put it in that case because it's real small. So I will detach it. So I like that taper mount. It's awesome because I don't have to use a tool to attach it. I was like, boop, and it's perfectly aligned and perfectly tight. It's great. Taper is the best, dude. It's the best. For bolt action, come on, man, it's the best. So, and who's going to shoot unsuppressed? Nobody, because that's dumb. So right now, I don't know. Right now, I think I'm going to stick with the full-size Hyperion for the season. I'm going to finish out the season with it. You know, I just shot that pig. It was awesome. I can do it. Will I take the bipod off? Maybe, maybe not. But I can tell you, I did want to subscribe. I did want to describe something. You know that feeling on a cold day when you take that kill shot, you eject your brass. It's so cool. You take that kill shot, you eject your brass from the bolt action. You get up to go, you go check out your kill. You grab that you might grab your silencer because you're moving around your gun, and the silencer's just a little warm, dude. That single shot, you didn't magged up. You just took one shot, dude. It was a cold day. You took one shot. That silencer's a little warm. You know, just a little warm, and you think to yourself, you're like, whoa, that's heat transfer. Oh, trapped all that gas. It got hot. It's interesting. I love that, man. I love that single shot kill silencer feel. I wish I could bottle that. I wish I could bottle that feeling. You know, you touch that silencer, like, ooh, you're a little hot now, aren't you? Yes, you are. You wonderful silencer, you. Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. That's the silencer's doing its job. You're doing your job. Everything's just coming together. It's working. That's that good gear feeling, dude. That's that. Yeah, I tell you what, man. There's nothing like it. You know, I'm telling you, I love it. Shooting a 16-inch 308 with a full-size Hyperion is crazy. That's quiet, and you can tell the difference. I'm sorry. I remember like earlier in this podcast when I went a little bit crazy. I'll admit it. I got a little heated. But when you have people that are very experienced with silencers telling you that you can't tell the difference between two silencers on supersonic 308, oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my God. That couldn't be more wrong. Oh my God, dude. Like, that is so crazy to say something like that. It's ludicrous to say it. It's ludicrous. Muzzle blast is real, my friends. And trapping more of it is a good idea. And I'm telling you, that Hyperion, though, on the 16-inch fix, it's louder than the 20-inch fix, sure. It's closer to your head by 4 inches, and it's higher muzzle pressure entering it. But it's still good. Dude. And it's not even, and what's really crazy about it, it's not that heavy for how big it is. Because it's big. But you know what? I measured it after I took that picture for the podcast and social media. I measured it. It adds 8 3/4 inches to my fix, basically. I don't know what the actual length listed on the website is, or whatever of the Hyperion. Like if you measure it from like end cap tip to back of mount or whatever. But I measured how much like. First, I took the silencer off the gun. I measured from the end of the handguard to the end of the barrel. Then I put the silencer on the gun, and I measured from the end of the handguard to the end of the silencer. So if you subtract those two numbers, I get 8 3/4 inches. You know, maybe not counting the flash hider feature on the end cap or whatever, but it's like, you know what I mean? So 8 3/4 inches added to the gun. Because remember, there's no mount, right? It's a direct thread and a tapered, yeah? So 8 3/4 inches, and it's light, and you get one of the quietest experiences you could possibly have on a 16-inch 308 bolt gun, and it's accurate as all get out because it's perfectly aligned and is 3D printed, and like the jet effects of the baffle assembly are symmetrical due to the way Josh designed it. So like. Dude, I mean, I honestly, I might take off the bipod for my next deer hunt if I have shooting sticks with me. That's going to lighten up the front end. The only thing I'll say is, like, I'll just say this. If you're blind hunting, you're in a blind, using a shorter silencer is cool because the gun's more compact. And that's it, just because it's a movement thing. You're moving around in a small space, right? I've said it before, though. 16-inch 308 is cool. You get enough velocity to kill pretty much anything you need to in Texas, and it's not super long. You know, I think you can go down to 12-inch or something like for 308, but I think 16-inch gives you good momentum for those 200-yard shots if you need to take them. If you need to take a 200-yard shot, I feel like 16-inch 308 will still be all right. You know, I don't know that you need like a 300 Win Mag for Texas hunting, but I guess if you're hunting like super far, I don't know. I think 308's plenty. Can you? I like to blow through the animal. I like to get a good exit, get that blood trail. So that's why I like 308 and on medium-sized game. And you know, I think you could probably use 300 Win Mag. I don't think you need to necessarily. I think you could probably debate that. I'm sure. I guess you and I could debate this. If we cared. I don't think if you're listening to the podcast, you really care that much about that, whatever. But I mean, you might. Maybe we can talk about it. I don't know. You know, but here's the cool thing. Just, you know, picture this, or, you know, keep this in your back pocket. The cool thing is that we have a good 308 data set now. So that's helpful. And that 308 data set is only going to get bigger. It is. And so in addition to getting good silencer physics understood by testing on a bolt actions, we also get a comprehensive database of hunting silencer performance. Yeah, it's cool, right? So I think it's cool. So remember, this use case is one where you actually probably won't wear hearing protection. Bolt action hunting rifle, right? You probably won't wear hearing protection if you're hunting with it. Like, that's very, very common. Chances are. So it is going to be in your best interest to understand the data. If you are close to the ground or other reflecting surfaces, that suppression rating is going to drop. So if you start with one that's higher, it will be more forgiving for real life use if you aren't standing in a field. You feel me? Okay, cool. All right, we're getting long. We're going to move into topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 57 seconds. Okay, this is dangerously close to 2 hours. Topic 4, the grassroots support of Pew Science. I wanted to mention it. It's so great. And here's something I want to say. It's really important. The industry's taking note. This is actually pretty big news. And Pew Science members are directly responsible. So listen up, guys. This is pretty big news. Several manufacturers have commented to me that they wouldn't even be going in certain directions if it weren't for Pew Science. I've said it before. I wanted to say it again because this week I got another comment. And this is like icing on the cake for me this week. Actually, if you only knew who this company, I'm not going to tell you what company it is because it'll cause too many problems. But it's just, they know that I know, and I want them to hear me say it if they listen. A CEO of a silencer company told me that I am forcing change. And that company is very well known. So that means that Pew Science members are directly responsible for forcing change in the industry. And Gun Owners of America, organizations like that, right? I'm not saying them specifically, but organizations like that, they say they do stuff with the money you give them. I guess I believe it. I think they probably do. I think they probably take the money you give them when you're in your donations or your membership fees or your membership dues. You give that to Gun Owners of America, and I think they do good stuff with it. It's hard for me to keep track of it. I don't know what exactly they're doing with it because it's hard for me to see it in action. But I think they're using it for good. I think they are. I think they're helping to defend and uphold the laws that protect our inherent human rights. I think they are. But I'm here, and and I am here to tell you there is direct evidence that Pew Science members are doing the same thing. it's working. Meaning that we know, we see it. We know that your membership contributions are working because the industry is having forced change because of Pew Science. So it's direct. You can't get any closer other than being me, really. I don't know how you would. So, cheers. Thank you. Thanks to you. You're doing it. And it's important. So when I get feedback like that, I feel like I'm coming back to my team, which is you, and telling you that we got a pat on the back. Pew Science got a pat on the back. And that means you did. That support and listen to the podcast. Yeah? Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I'll try to answer them. I'm pretty good about it. So, these are the fruits of your contributions. Industry innovation. By you, for you. I will talk to you folks again soon.